Hello, everybody. Welcome to Module 2. We made it through Module 1. Thank you so much for being patient while we worked out some of the kinks. It is a little challenging to have both graduates and undergraduates combine into one section, but we have worked really hard to make sure that you guys are separated and you're on the right track and we don't have any of those hiccups anymore. So thanks for your patience. I have had so much fun seeing your introduction photos and reading more about you. It is great to put some of the faces to names, to see some of the faces that I recognize, and then to also get started on reading some of your SWOTs. So from your first assignment, this is a tough concept to understand. Some of you have found it very easy, which means that you've read the material. Or you might have previous marketing experience, and that is great. If you do not, if you found this challenging, that is okay. These are new concepts for you. If you don't have a previous background in marketing, this is the first time you're studying it. It can be a little bit challenging to comprehend in the beginning, but don't worry, we will work together to make sure that you get comfortable with this content. And it's important that you get comfortable understanding all of this material, especially assessing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, because you will see this later again in the semester. So let's talk about this module. During this module, we are going to talk about two main things. The first is sport consumers, and the second is market research. As you learned in Module 1, the term marketing tends to be used in a variety of different ways. Most often, marketers use advertising, publicity, and selling techniques to make others aware of a product or to attract more consumers to buy it. Put simply, marketing means to be focused on satisfying the needs of consumers or customers. Sport marketing is less about utilizing a single strategy and more about using the content and the experiences of sport to assist in the marketing efforts. So it's not just about one way that we're going to market something. It's about using the content and using the experience of sport to assist throughout an entire diverse experience or a diverse portfolio of how you're going to market something. And there's two different ways that we will study how that's typically done. The first is direct marketing of sports or services. Direct marketing of products or services themselves. The second is the selling of products through sport. So again, the first, the selling of products and services themselves, or the selling of products and services through sport. So let's clarify a little bit. What do I mean by products? Products. Yes, this is a shameless plug for their old logo because I really like it. Gosh, it's great. Anyway, those are all sample products. There's a lot of different things that are considered products. It's anything that you can tangibly hold, something that you can buy, while services generally speaking, are intangible. But those are things that are directly marketed to you. So let's say you go to a Detroit Tigers game. The game itself is a product. That's the product. That is the intent of what they're trying to sell to you, just the game. And then the services that go along with the game might be the ushers that are trying to help you find your seat, the ticket takers that are taking your ticket as you're coming in, and then the announcements to tell you what inning it is, what batter is up, if there's a pitching change. Those are the services that are related to the sport itself. So all that is marketed to you as a consumer. On the flip side, there is an experience of selling products and services through the sport. So let's say, again, you go to a Tigers game and you hear an advertisement that is announced over the loudspeaker. You see a banner out in the outfield, or you see something displayed on a scoreboard. Those are items that might be secondary to the game, and that's advertising through the sport. So the game itself is being advertised to you. That is the product. And then there's all of the products and services that are advertised through the game that aren't necessarily related to it, but you as a consumer are exposed to while you watch the game, either in person, on TV, or listen to it on the radio. So we're going to study those two concepts during this module. Now, oftentimes when we think about sport marketing, naturally, we think of some of the largest forms of sport. So we're going to think of our pro leagues, we're going to think of collegiate leagues, and then we're going to think of the larger sporting events like the Super Bowl or the Olympics. And then, as we learned in Module 1, we'll think of celebrity endorsements and how some of the largest names in sports are sponsored by certain teams or products, and then they'll endorse their products. While those are great examples, that's a very small portion and a limited number of what is actually out in the marketing industry, or what's actually out in the industry in general. And as marketers, it's our job to help you gain that understanding of products and services that are not necessarily from some of those biggest industries. For example, there's youth sports, high school sports, collegiate sports of many different levels. So yes, there's Division 1, but there's also Division 2, Division 3, Junior League. Junior League, and then community sports or community schools that also have sport leagues. There is rec, there's amateur sports, there's Olympic sports that are non-mainstream, there's semi-pro, there's adult leagues. There are so many different ways that you can experience sports services and products that aren't in those mainstream groups. So we will take a look at some of that. And then we'll transition into the second half of the module, and we'll look at two different principles and concepts. The first are the different types of consumers. So socialization, involvement, and commitment. And we'll introduce the escalator and the elevator theories and how consumers progress throughout their lifetime as consumers. So pay close attention in this section because there are clear differences between the two theories that are key to recognize if an escalator is going in one direction, that is really important, or if the elevator is going in two different directions. So you're going to be able to assess the type of consumer by recognizing whether they are on an escalator or if they are on an elevator. That will make more sense later on in the module. The second thing we'll take a look at is market research and how marketers understand what their consumer is looking for, or how they can help define what their customer is looking for, because sometimes the customer themselves does not know what it is that they desire, what they're looking for, or what they're seeking. So how do marketers use market research to establish the answers to those questions and help develop products and services for the customers so they can meet their needs without even knowing it? At the end of this module, there is a case study, and we'll be applying what we learned throughout this module. So you will progress through that case study. It is due on Wednesday, September 22nd. So you have plenty of time to work through this, 2 weeks. If you have any questions, let me know. The material, again, is in a little bit of a new format for us this semester. So it is very interactive, but that doesn't mean you won't have questions. So if you do, reach out to me and let me know. But I am looking forward to seeing your responses to this case study. It is pretty fun. So let me know if you have any questions. But until then, I look forward to seeing all of your material on Wednesday, September 22nd.